Hey guys, personal defense, and what you have in front of you here is a piece of firearms history. This is a Mosin Nagant 9130, although I think the correct pronunciation is Mosin Nagant, but I'm not really sure about that. I'm just going to call it the Mosin, and I guess you could say I'm kind of jumping on the bandwagon of what I've seen has been pretty popular on YouTube lately. So I picked this rifle up, actually this package, as you see it here, for pretty cheap, for actually really cheap, and my intention was to sporterize it, quote unquote. So what I got in this package was the actual rifle itself. Here you see, and this one is really nice. It's a laminated stock. The stock is in really good shape. Everything was matching numbers, the magazine and this bottom part here. I guess this is the bottom receiver. No, this is the magazine. Anyway, the receiver, the bolt, the barrel, everything was matching numbers. I don't know if that's common or not common, but I was pretty happy to get that. I also got this old sling that came with it. It's like a dog collar type sling. I got this little pouch that has a quote-unquote toolkit and a cleaning kit in it. And I got this pretty freaking huge and heavy bayonet. And the bayonet number was also matching with the receiver and everything else. So I was really happy about that. So if you're not familiar with the Mosin Nagant, this is the most common variant of it. This is the 9130, meaning that it was designed, I believe, in 1891, and then they went through it, made some improvements in 1930. Then they mass-produced the hell out of this thing. I think it was something like 17 million of these were made during the war, and so they're pretty readily available anywhere. And so they're actually pretty cheap, depending on where you get it and who you get it from. They go from anywhere. I've seen as low as $79 and upwards of, depending on condition and variant and type, $200. I personally, for the 9130, that's not a hex receiver, just the regular receiver, I don't think you should pay any more than $150 tops, and I mean that's like out the door, tax, everything. Do not pay more than that for this, because there will be there's a ton of them. But let's go ahead and safety check this. Oops. And you can see there's nothing in that magazine. Can't see down in the chamber, but there's nothing in there either. I'm going to quickly go over these accessories that came with it. This is this little leather pouch that kind of has a texture like a football almost. And it's got, I guess you would call that a belt loop on the back. Not really sure. I went ahead and just threw some extra rounds in it. This weapon is chambered in the 7.62 by 5.4R, which means it's 7.62 by 54 millimeter. R stands for rimmed, and it is a rimmed cartridge. Because of that, when you put the rounds in the magazine, they kind of stack weird, and it kind of leads, every once in a while you might get like a jam. I think they call it rim lock, and sometimes it'll be a failure to feed, and it gets real frustrating at times. But if you're just real careful about how you load it, you won't run into that. This is the tool that mine came with, although I don't think this is the correct tool. And I mean, it's just basically a flathead screwdriver, which is pretty much all you need for this thing. And then it's got some cleaning parts. I think there's a patch runner in here somewhere that came with it. So not that you'd ever use this. I mean, I would just use it to put ammo in, honestly, if I was going to reenact some war thing or something. But so that came with it. Another thing that came with it is the mighty Mosin bayonet, and this thing is just huge. It resembles a Chinese bayonet on an SKS to me. I don't know. It also doubles as a flat-bladed screwdriver, but this thing is just enormous. And with this 9130 has a 28-inch barrel, and when you put this freaking 2-foot long bayonet on it, you've got, 5-foot tall rifle. So it's pretty crazy. I will say this right off the bat, since I did have this out of the wood and I put it back in the wood to this rifle, this band, there's another band that goes up here that I just didn't put on because it was a pain to get off over the front sight. So pretend that there's a band here. So the bayonet, like I said, goes on front here, and what you do is you put it on like this and you push it down and you twist, and then you're left, from what I understand, you're left with a pretty much permanently attached bayonet. I think once they're on like that, they're not meant to come off, so mine's not going to go on. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the rifle. First of all, the ergonomics suck. The way this, the shape is here, holding it up against your shoulder, it's not the most comfortable, it's not the most, it's almost like a straight piece of wood, so it's kind of hard to fire. And I gotta apologize because this isn't really a review, this is just kind of like an overview, because my intention is just to completely rip this apart, which I already have. So I don't have any shots or clips of me firing it in the wood stock, and I probably won't unless I go get another one, because right after I'm done with this video, I'm going to throw it in the other stock. Anyway, just from me holding it up to my shoulder, it's not the best. But, it was designed in, 1891, so what can you expect? It is a bolt-action rifle. The magazine holds 5 rounds of 7.62 by 54R rimmed. It has a 28-inch barrel. The action on these rifles, from what I understand, most of these, when you get them, are packed in cosmoline, so they're going to need a lot of cleaning and a lot of going through to get them into firing condition. I've seen a lot of reports of the sticky bolt syndrome, quote unquote, and that's just basically when these things are packed in cosmoline, and then you get them all cleaned out, and then when you fire it, everything heats up and that cosmoline kind of melts and then just kind of gums up the works, so to speak. But my bolt, I've actually taken apart. You can see it's coming off. It's moving on its own already. I've taken my bolt apart and I've gone through it. I've cleaned it like crazy with mineral spirits. Mineral spirits seems to be the best way to clean it. And then I oiled it like crazy too, the firing pin and everything. So my action is actually really smooth and it works really well. My next thing is to go through and kind of polish up the trigger, make the trigger a little bit better, because I shot my friend's. He bought one when I did, and his trigger is a lot nicer than mine, so I'm a little jealous of it. So I'm going to work on my trigger to make it like his. So bolt action, it's got iron sights on it, and these iron sights are similar to the SKS, where I had heard someone call it a battle sight, where all the way back is like to 100 meters or whatever, and then you slide this up, and that's how you adjust it for distance. And the front sight is I guess you would call that a hooded pin. I'm not really sure what you would call it, but I don't know if you can see that on camera here. It's kind of a dovetail thing, and to adjust the windage, you just kind of pound it. I've seen people do it on YouTube. This rifle comes with its own little cleaning rod here that unscrews out of the... This actually screws into the stock, not into the receiver or the metal or anything. So it screws into the wood. Comes out. Nice cleaning rod. So that's handy. And, a lot of those old rifles are kind of self-sufficient like that, come with their own cleaning stuff. The sling that's on it, like I said, is this dog collar type sling that isn't the best looking sling, but it kind of goes with the whole time period, and it just looks like it belongs on it. This is the magazine. The trigger is actually part of the upper receiver barrel part. When you pull it off, the trigger slides out, and then this part slides off. The buttstock, this is all solid wood, except you can see here there's like a piece here. There's also a stamp right there. I'm not real sure what that stamp means. But like I said, this stock is in really good shape, so my intention is to not tear this up. It has a no recoil absorbing anything. It's just a metal butt plate, and from what I read, they're like that because, you know, you have your bayonet up front, trench warfare, I guess you could say. You shoot your 5 rounds, you're out of rounds, you go and you stab, and then you're gonna, you know, smack them with the butt plate. This rifle weighs, I think it's almost 9 pounds. It's pretty heavy, and it's really solid. So, you know, you crack somebody's skull with that butt plate pretty easily. What was in there? Let me just show you a little ammo comparison here. Here is, and this is all tool ammo. So here's a 223, what I was shooting out of my AR-15. That's also, you know, similar to a 5.56 by 39, I believe. Here is a 7.62 by 39. This is out of the you know, SKS or AK-47. Here is the 7.62 by 54R, and that's what the Mosin is shooting. This is all tool ammo. The tool ammo is actually not bad for the Mosin. On cheaperthandirt.com, I think it's about $9 for 20 of them, and then at Sportsman's Warehouse I saw it was $11 for 20 of them, tool ammo. The tool ammo is actually over 3,000 feet per second, I think, at the muzzle, so it's not bad. But anyway, look at the size of that cartridge. It's just massive. But for the $100 you're going to spend on this, you can't beat it as far as a fun factor. And I mean, look at how cool it looks. It's an old, you know, it's basically an old, it's a piece of history, and you just really can't beat that for the price. For $100, and it's, you know, on top of that, it's really, really fun to shoot. And it's also a nice little project. I mean, if you don't plan on sporterizing it like I'm going to, if you're just going to, you know, keep it like this, you still have to take it apart, learn how everything works, you know, take the bolt apart, clean everything out. So, I mean, it's a project. It's definitely a project gun. It's not a, I'm going to buy it and fire it. You need to clean it no matter where you get it, unless you buy it from, you know, a used from a person who's had it or whatever. But I mean, it's decently accurate. It's got a ton of power, and for the price, you just can't beat it. So stay tuned for my sporterizing video, and I will show you how to disassemble this and put it into the new stock. Thanks for watching.